anymore. Okay, we tried it. It worked real well. We have Republicans and Democrats for 150 years. Okay, it doesn't work forever. Nothing does. And now we're going to have to, especially this happens, if they're threatened, if they can see the revolution coming. Mr. Hitler came to power in January of 1933. Very important. The Depression had hit in 1929, was 4 years into the Depression. In those 4 years, two political parties took off inside Germany, the Socialist Party and the Communist Party. By 1932, the last elections the Germans had, the Socialists and Communists together, 50% of the vote. And they were out in the streets, and they were talking the debate in the street was between the Socialists, who wanted to take power but not too violently, and the Communists, who wanted to take power and didn't worry about how violent it might be. And the mass of the German capitalists didn't know what to do. Their conventional parties had disintegrated. Their equivalent of Republican and Democrat, the mass of people were so hurt by the Depression, so bereft. Depression hit hard in Germany, like it did here. They were so angry and so bitter. Think of the Trump forces and the Bernie Sanders forces a year or two down the road when things have gotten worse. They were really bitter. So the German capitalists made a decision. They turned to the only other political force that could give them a mass base. All the old ones were gone. They had this crazy, weird, short, dark-haired fellow from another country. Hitler, Austrian, brown. These blonde, blue-eyed Aryans were in love with a little brown, short guy with a funny mustache, who no one took seriously.
And a quarter Jewish.
What?
He's Jewish.
A quarter Jewish, perhaps, yes. Perhaps, yes. But the capitalists who didn't like him, who made fun of him, who thought he was a bully, a clown, a loudmouth, uncultured, uncouth. Jesus, you could the whole list of things we say about Mr. Trump. Or, as I learned recently, his original family name, Drumpf. Stephen Colbert did a horrible, horrible job on poor Mr. Trump. But here's my point. Turning to a fascist, to a person who says, I'm not about the usual conventions of politics. I'm not a Republican and a Democrat, or the German equivalent. I'm here to tell you, you want to make a deal with us? Fine. You give us the government, we'll take care of all the opposition. Don't worry about it. You don't need a mass base. We'll kill them. We'll terrorize them. We'll drive them out of the country, or we'll arrest them, or we'll gas them to death. We'll take care of it. There'll be no unions to worry about. There'll be no communists and no socialists and nothing. That's what happened. Fascism is when you can't hold this unequal system together with the mass-based party apparatus. We're watching both parties tremble because they can't do it. They can't paper over the contradictions of this system. The poverty, the debt, the bad-looking future, the difficulty of the young people who are voting overwhelmingly against what exists. And this system is now going to have to figure out, can we recoup the mass base in the two parties? And it don't look real good right now. And if Mr. Trump wins, he will exacerbate all of that. His commitment to evangelicalism is thin. Very thin. And if Mrs. Clinton becomes the candidate, which the apparatus wants, she will come in under a cloud of disagreement and hostility and criticism from an outside of her party, but from half of the people inside the party. How she's going to govern and how that's going to work, very questionable. Whatever she says, be You should all be aware. She and her people are watching in stunned disbelief at the disintegration of of their party. Exactly the way the establishment of the Republican is looking in stunned disbelief as Mr. Trump makes monkeys out of them. Over and over again. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to stop it. But be very worried, because there is a solution that has happened before when this peaceful arrangement of keeping capitalism going breaks down. What happens then, if you have that merger of the government as the partner with a heavy fist to keep this system going against all of the opposition? That's fascism. That's Italian fascism, Japanese fascism, Ukrainian fascism, German fascism, and so on. Fascism has always lurked there as the fallback position when everything else doesn't work. We used to think of that as a historically interesting question. It's now coming to be part of our immediate situation. I don't want to leave you with